We're in Explorers. It's me, intern JP, and today we're going to be reading Henri Scissors by Jeanette Winter. This is Henri Scissors by Jeanette Winter. In a small weaving town in France, a young boy named Henri Emile Benoit Matisse watched his mother paint china. He wanted to paint too. There's his mom painting, and there's him looking at it. He drew pictures in the sand, and he drew pictures in his school books. Him drawing in the sand, and that one's him drawing in the school book. When Henri was a young man, he loved to draw pictures in his law books and in contracts and deeds and wills. He drew pictures on contracts, deeds, and wills. That's pretty interesting. Henri was sick in bed with appendicitis one winter. His mother gave him a box of paints, and he painted until he was well. There's him in his bed, painting. I like painting. He kept on painting, forgot all about law, and left his small town to be an artist in Paris. There he is, leaving Paris, and he's going to Paris and leaving a small town behind. Henri painted pictures day after day and year after year. There's him painting. He's always painting. Okay. He was happy with his paintings, and it made people happy. There's all of his paintings. But when Matisse was an old man, he fell ill. So ill he couldn't paint. So ill he couldn't sit up. So ill he could only lie in bed and sleep. His paintings floated around him in his dreams. There's him in his bed. He's too sick to get up, and he's too sick to paint. Matisse finally opened his eyes, and they were filled with sadness. He must remain in bed or use a wheelchair. Would he ever have the energy to paint again? There's him in his bed, and he finally managed to open his eyes. When Matisse was strong enough to travel, he went to the seaside. The sea air helped him get well. Before long, he sat up, and he started drawing. There's him by the seaside with his cap. He has a bird, too. Then one day, Matisse picked up a pair of scissors and cut out shapes from painted paper. He was drawing with scissors. There's all kinds of pieces of paper all over the place. A pair of scissors is a wonderful instrument, he said. There he is, cutting with those scissors. Matisse cut paper all day. His assistant painted for him all day, too. My pleasure in cutting things out grows even greater. Why didn't I think of this earlier? So he's having other people paint paper, and he cuts out the paper. Wow. It seems to me that I am in a second life, he said, with paper cutouts all over his walls. Wow, look at all that. That's cool. And there's his cat again. One evening, Matisse laid in bed and drew faces of his grandchildren on the ceiling with a piece of chalk and a long pole. As he fell asleep, they looked on him, and he saw them in his dreams. Wow, look at him. He's painting the ceiling with a long pole with chalk on it. And you can see all of his paper cutouts all over his walls. They saw the shapes and they surrounded him in his sleep. Look at all the shapes he'd cut out. As time went on, Matisse cut bigger and bigger shapes as they filled his seaside room with color. You see, as I am obliged to remain often in bed, I have made a little garden all around me where I can walk. There are leaves, fruits, and even a bird, he said. Wow, look at all those paper cutouts in his room. They're huge. I am deeply contented and happy, he said. He made a huge forest out of paper cutouts. In his room, even. Then one night, Matisse walked out into his paper garden, and a rainbow of shapes cradled the old artist and carried him into the heavens. Wow. All of his paper mache art floating around him in his dreams and carried him up into the heavens. And some of the stars we see at night are coming to us from Henri's scissors, perhaps. Look, there he is up in the sky, painting all of the stars and cutting them out too. The end. Bye, explorers.